Ho ho. Software to go live. All right, boys and girls. Seems like I am live, I guess. You know, dealing with YouTube is like sometimes crazy time. So let me know who's here. Let me know who is here. Don't know. So here I am, boys and girls. Let me see, where's the chat? I'm live. Something crazy happening with YouTube. So, who's here? Who is here? Who is here? I'm here. And I'm public. Okay. Unas solas. You know, YouTube keeps changing how things are done, and you know, sometimes things move a lot quicker than I am able to keep up with. So I will hang out for a minute, and if anyone is here, just yep. So I will hang out. I don't know what's going on. Stuff is just like everywhere with YouTube. I had an actual excellent connection. This is so stupid. Dealing with these people. 3 playbacks. So if anyone is here, sign in. YouTube has got some new auto chat crapola happening. Analog. Okay, so I guess I am live. I don't know. I guess analog. Hey, I hope everything is going pretty good for you so far. Yes. Trying to sort through the YouTube nonsense. They had this auto live stream thing happening now, so I don't know. Technical glitches, you know. Yeah, but tell me what's going on in your world. Tell me what's going on in your world. And we're gonna wait for a few more. I know many of you who have visited the community page know full well that right now I'm in the middle of a reno. And we're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss well, some of the major changes that are happening here at the studio. For one thing, that's the primary goal of this chat, because things are going to change tremendously for me, for the better, I hope and pray, you know. Had the possibility to test the bus comp. Okay. I was completely right as usual. No, I'm wrong. Ask my wife. She'll tell you I'm probably more wrong than right sometimes. But thank you, sir, for that. And yeah, the bus comp is pretty good, man. I mean, for what it's worth, and if you put it to good use in terms of your goals for mixing, yeah, it can be a pretty useful piece of equipment, you know. But yeah, I'm glad you had a chance to get your hands on it. Warm Audio is doing things, man. You know, they're doing things, so you know, stick with it. Ah, Jonathan, what's up, brother? Oh man. Oh, everybody say hello to Jonathan Parham, please. And I'm going to shout you out to everybody who shows up also, man. Is this my new space? No, actually it's getting built out. Next week I'm getting some testing done for the room. There's some sneaky suspicions that I've had for the last 6 months that I'm gonna have some tests done for the acoustics, and yeah, man, I'm getting that done next week. Demo was the last couple of weeks, and there's gonna be some changes that I'm, you know, gonna be making. Some things I have to get back to doing. This whole COVID thing has shifted, you know, not only my way of working, but just goals that I've had for the year. It's just a whole lot of stuff that, and I need to get back to work. I really have to start looking for some, you know, new work coming in. I lost a ton of new projects right before this COVID thing hit. So now what I'm doing is I have to restructure a few things so that this way I'm, you know, opening myself up to any business liability as well as any loss, you know, because it's these are dangerous times now. People want to sue businesses if they suspect that they, you know, got sick in your environment. So it's really a very fine line to walk, you know. So I have to make some changes with the way I'm doing things, and the whole, you know, 6-month layoff has been a good thing, giving me a chance to really think. But now that we're hitting the 1% curve, I have to really get back to work, man, because brother needs a buck. You know what I mean? Audio is kind of low. Oh, really? Okay. All right. Let's fix that, my brother. Let's fix that. I'm going to fix that for you. How's that? How's that? Testing 1, 2. Cranking it up a bit. I hear you. That's smart. Sort of teaser pics. Yeah. Yeah, it's something, man. I had a whole lot planned right before there was a series that I was going to be doing with several several vocalists and artists. I'll just shed a little light on that for a second. Krishna and KP, my brother. Oh, this is my brother. Good to see you, man. Thanks for your message this week, man. I appreciate it. But I was doing a throwback to the 90s series with some serious vocalists here in the city. And then this stupid pandemic hit. So I had to scrap that. I'm going to be revisiting that as a idea. But what it was that I was going to be recreating some choruses of some songs that were really big hits in the 90s with some phenomenal musicians, of which I was going to be doing a ground up sort of video whereby I showed you how I'm arranging it, writing it, recording it, doing the vocal, the whole kit and caboodle, to give those of the youngsters that are out there an idea of how I produce records. I won't say how to produce because everyone has their own workflow, but how I normally approach production. So yeah, man. But again, that pandemic hit and I had to scrap it. So now I've just decided to do a complete, redo, if you will. And that includes renovating the place. Now, how deep of a renovation I'm going to be doing? My wife's, who also occupied my space, had an office, so I just scrapped the office, and had the whole wall knocked down, so that widened up the space considerably. But now there's some changes that's going to be taking place with regards to the control room and the live room. So I'll keep you all apprised of that. But it was some really big surprises that I had last week. It was like, oh wow. But yeah. But it's been good, John. I need multiple bucks. Yeah, man. I need multiple bucks myself, man. Jonathan, for those of you who don't know, does professional audio for film, both field as well as a composer. Really talented brother, and one of my good friends for some time. So yeah, that's who Jonathan Parham is. If you see him on the chat. But Infinite 2020, Yusef Bey. Yeah, listen, man, y'all gotta tell me what's up in your world, and let's talk. Let's talk. And let's see. Let's go through the chat. Any information on next product? Okay. Analog. Any information concerning the next product expected in a few days from Warm Audio? No, but I got a sense that I think they're based on the last couple of, this is just, I don't have any inside information, full disclosure, but I think with the last couple of products, which were both direct boxes, which if you guys haven't picked them up, I really think you should, only because every studio needs an active and a passive direct box. You just never know. It's just like good insurance to have. But it appears to be something related to guitarists. That's just based on appearances. We will all know on tomorrow. Oh, before I get too far down the road on this whole thing, listen, you all need to say happy birthday to my wife. It's her birthday today. So y'all need to just put a little happy birthday in the chat to Michelle. Say happy birthday to Michelle. She's okay, Krishna KP said he is planning to buy the Cramboard 500R after watching your video. Okay, listen, if it works for you, it works for you. You all know my opinion on it. If it's a new build, it's an all-in-one solution. I think that's a great idea. The independent music scene in India is exploding, and having an mix is a great add-on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, I have mad respect for what's happening in India and around the world, for that matter. Sometimes we get so caught up in thinking that our neck of the woods is the end all be all. But I have nothing but love for my brothers around the world in India and the entire music scene and the technical aspects. There's another brother that I follow on YouTube, Wolf Crow. He's a cinematographer in India, and a really talented brother, you know, and a brother be loving some Bollywood films. So, you know, hey man, I am not discriminating. I love my people, you know. So what, you know, if that works out for you, getting back to the Cranborn, if that works out for you, and if it's a new install, great. You know, my opinions about the Cranborn, of which I've been flamed over, and I really don't care. My opinions of it were based on coming from the perspective of, listen, this is an all-in-one unit, and there's very few people that I know as a professional that are going to tear out an entire studio and stick this thing in there. You know, but if it's a new build, it's a great option. So if it works out for you, please report back to us all, because we would like to know, you know. Oh, okay. Hey, Analog, she's gonna appreciate that, man. She's gonna Madam Henry. Okay. That's good stuff, brother. Yes, sir. Oh man. Let's go forward. Okay. Jonathan said hello to Michelle as well. So, Yusuf, I've gotten some projects mixed to upgraded converters. Okay. Swapped out the Ghost. Okay. Okay. There's a big digital family and loads of best wishes from us all. Listen, Christian and my brother, I appreciate you saying that, man. You know, maybe when this pandemic lifts, you guys can invite me out, you know, for a tour of the scene there in India. You know, because I know there's a few really big post-production studios out there that's doing crazy work. I can't put my finger on, I can't name them as we speak, but I know it was a big facility that have done quite a few pretty large films, you know, over these past few years. So most definitely, man. Ha ha, India welcome Siri. Okay, my brother, I'm gonna look for that invitation right after you all open your borders to us again. Oh man, this is crazy, right? That's sick. And I have friends that travel for business around the world, and everybody is stuck within the confines of America. So, yes, man, yes, it is a crazy world that we live in. But questions with regards to either what I'm doing right now, any questions regarding gear, any questions you would like to know about my reno, fire away. And I will read your chats as they come in. Aha, Jonathan, you say his YouTube note. Yes, you guys got to check Jonathan Parham's stuff out, though, man. Unique Whips. He was a composer for some and that was on. I'm not sure, Jonathan. You're gonna have to let everybody know if that was on Motor Trend channel, but it was one of the I used to watch that a lot. You know, where they take the cars and they you know, hop them up and they do all the beautiful paint jobs and all that. But Jonathan wrote music for that, so and has done a ton of films. So Jonathan, you can drop your information and let everyone know how they can get in touch with you and find out more about you. So, let's go. I keep visiting San Jose once a quarter. Okay. Okay. All right. Me too. So, let's go with some comments. And let's talk, as we say in New York. Let's talk. You know? And let's talk gear. Let's talk reno. Let's talk. I have a sneaky suspicion that this whole auto chat thing with Mr. Pirate Brain. Okay, Mr. Pirate Brain found me, so I guess okay, hey, listen everybody, Jonathan just put his information up here. So speed channel, right. Let me show it. So this is how you guys get in touch with Jonathan Parham. Yes. And Mr. Pirate Brain, what's up, man? So about let's I'm give you guys a little bit of background. The last I'll say, okay, we've been in this dilemma from about March to, let's say, technically June. And between that time, I was on the fence about, well, I was going to do a upgrade, as many of you knew already, to my chain, because I was doing more mastering outside of the box. Okay, excuse me. So with that in mind, this pandemic hits. Boom. I lose several jobs. Boom. I had to par back a few things and figure out, okay, well, what my next move was going to be, of which up until like maybe July, I was totally unsure. So what am I going to be doing from this point forward? From this point forward, I will be doing more acoustic music. That's one. I will be going back to doing more remote drum tracking, for independent clients. That's another. I'm going to be doing some, again, as you all know, more arranging and composing for independent producers, whether I'm writing charts, lead sheets. I mean, at this point, I have to really hustle up to get as much work as possible, because the money that I had anticipated having at this particular time has, as you all well know, months ago evaporated. So now, when you're faced with circumstance, you got to have two things: a backup plan, and you better make sure you have some extra cash on hand for the unexpected. Thank God I had both. Now, I decided to go ahead with the Reno because if nothing else, this pandemic gave me, it was a lot of time to think about what I was going to be doing and what I could be doing in the event we were on, let's just say, for instance, permanent lockdown. For many of you, you know that music has not stopped being produced. People have found alternative ways of getting it done. So either you get on board with the new way of doing things, or you're going to get left behind. Now, there are a lot of my colleagues that have thrown up their hands and surrendered and say, you know what, screw this. I'm old. I'm getting out of Dodge while I can. And I respect that. But as a creative, you have to understand that the creative, you may be tired of the way things are going, but you have to make adjustments, because the creative part of you, just because you're tired of something, just does not die. You still want to create. And that's where I am. I think I'll be creating until the day I die, because that's just how I'm wired. For some people, it's like, okay, I'm tired. I put my time in this business. And a lot of people were forced into retirement. I've had friends that have lost their places. Like if they were renting commercial spaces in Midtown, they're suffering tremendously right now. And it's not cheap. So there are major adjustments being made on so many levels. And, like I said, either you adapt or you're going to get left behind. I decided to adapt, and this is what I've decided to do, was make some adjustments to how I'm going to work in the future. Okay, so let's take some questions really quick. We got to Jonathan. Yes. Oh, Jonathan has two questions. Are you going to upgrade anything Pro Tools? And if I had to get a sub from him, what would you recommend? Okay, let's start with the sub first. The sub, you can get any sub, because the only thing a subwoofer is doing is addressing the bottom end. I don't know what I would suggest you do, because tune in next week, because I'm going to speak in greater detail about using a sub in your space and some precautions you need to take with regards to your room. Okay, so tune in next week. I'm going to talk in greater detail, or I will post a video with regards to that. But for the record, you could get a sub. It's just addressing anything 100 hertz and below. And that's just for reference. I think Mackie makes a good sub. So does Genelec as well as Dynaudio and Tannoy. You can pick up the Tannoy TS10. I have the TS10. I've had it for the last at least 13 years, and it hasn't failed me. So you can find a sub on eBay for next to nothing, you know. And am I gonna upgrade anything Pro Tools? Absolutely not. I'm not giving Digi another nickel. Nope, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it, bro. Because I am sick of, you know, and let's just think about it. I had a friend, an award-winning artist and engineer, all right, upgraded recently, I think the Pro Tools 12, full upgrade. Now, do the price tag for an HD2 system in today's market. Then the pandemic hits. This is a person, and I'm going to address this and you can go. He leases everything. Now, you can write the lease payment off as a loss on your taxes. But who expected to be, you know, the lease payments are due, but you're paying for a piece of equipment that's now for the last 3 to 6 months sitting around doing what? Not making you no money. You know? So I'm not, you know, my system's fully paid for. It works up to 192. So whenever the standard changes in the industry, I'll change. Until such time, nope. I can't give Digi another nickel. 13 years ago, man. No, what? 2000 and what? 3? No, 2005. That's 12. No, 2005 is 15 years ago. I gave them over 15 grand. I mean, I've made that money back, thank God, but I can't keep. And then the resale value is just terrible. So who has that kind of money? Not me, not to keep giving that money. Excuse me. So Digi, Avid, I love y'all, but I don't love you like that. I am tired, and my pockets are tired too. So, just it's not Digi, it's Avid. But yeah, I know, man. But you know, hey, it's Digi. I mean, they all the same people. You know, just change the tie color. That's all they did. Change the tie, and the same people taking my money. Anywho, yes. Okay. Here's Dorian Haradri. Correct me if I'm wrong, brother. I don't want to be butchering your name. Dorian Haradri says hello, and he's curious. Thanks to my advice on the channel, I started to invest in used outboard gear and practicing printing tracks. Short history. I noticed DSLR cameras take really okay. Oh, so you have more of a statement. Okay. Dorian, expound on your point. Okay, and Sam, why sounds good and organic. Print mix on a DSLR. Well, okay. I don't know what if you're printing through or if you're printing for audio for video. But here's the thing. And like I said, again, these last few months have given me a chance to really do a lot of research. And I've come to two conclusions. That it gets down to the conversion chips being used. There's only like about 3 to 4 major chip providers. And if you go a couple of streams back, I think I talked about clocking and, you know, digital to analog conversion as well. But not only that, a lot of the technology when it comes to conversion chips has to do with the dynamic range afforded to you. Now, digital already affords us 144 plus, you know, decibels of dynamic range. There are companies, two of my favorite, I'll mention two of my favorites, Universal Audio and Apogee, that get very close on the digital to analog side to pushing out nearly 130 decibels of dynamic range. That's crazy. That's a lot of headroom. And combine that with perfect clocking, that's why their system sounds so good. Okay, we'll talk more about that in the future. or you can go back to a couple of other live streams where I talked about this in greater detail. But that's the deal right there. If you're talking about the clarity of any digital signal, even that Tascam recorder that's out, the one that Al Schmidt D8 3000, the converters in those things are like perfect. And if Al swears by it, it's as good as gold. So oh, and you said you own the Lynx Auroras. Yeah, that's another. Yeah, Lynx. That's another great company. They've been around since I was a kid, virtually. Okay, not a kid, but you know what I mean. In my late 20s, early 30s, I became more aware of Lynx because there was a unit when I used to work at with John Aschenbrenner. There was a unit that you used to control the clocks. Well, not the clocks, the capstans and two tape machines. I forget the name of it, but it was by Lynx. They were a big, time code, company that would allow you to lock multiple 24-track tape machines. So I'm very aware of their product, and they are a great company, Lynx Aurora, no doubt. So let's answer. Trusty Studios is in the house. What front ends are you using on your drums? My favorites are my Focusrite Reds. The Warm Audios are good. My NEVE. As well as the sleepers, the Fredensteins. They're good for toms. It depends on the music that I'm doing. The ISO ones are great for jazz. If I want fatness, if like I had a gospel group, this was a couple of years ago, stop in, and they gospel has a lot of girth and fatness that they need. So I was using the reds on those. It depends on the music. Because sometimes you need the fatness that those Carnhills will give you, and other times you don't. You just want the purity. Like when I was doing the trio gig with Yuko and Berta Moreno, you need the purity of the sound, so you don't want so much coloration, and that's where the ISIS come in at. But okay, so Mr. Pirate Brain has a question. I have Pro Tools HD with a TD M7 card expansion with the blackface interface, and it works. Will not upgrade many hits in that. That's true. Yeah, man, if it's working, it's working. I mean, that's what the kids will learn after a while, If it ain't broke, don't be going out of your way to fix it. And I have a friend of mine, and again, this guy's an award-winning artist and producer. And every new piece of tech that comes out, he buys it. Every time Pro Tools has an upgrade, he upgrades. I'm like, not me. Needs my money. I'd rather find something else to buy with that. I'd rather invest in microphones or something that's going to have good resale value, because what's going to happen, tech keeps changing. If the changes are going to positively affect your workflow, you change. Other than that, ain't no need to change. If the client ain't complaining, why are you going out and buying something brand new? They will respond more. And he does it for the bells and whistles. I get it. Like you get the new control surface and all. Ooh, the client walks in there wild because they see all these moving faders and crap. And I'll make the music sound better. And not that his music is bad. The fact of the matter is that, they get you all caught up and strung out on this stuff. And in the end, if you are an income producing space, the idea is to produce income. Nothing more, nothing less. Period. So to be giving, these people more money, if it's not enhancing or if it's not an asset to your business, then why are you going and buying it? Because it's going to depreciate, and that's a whole other topic, So, hey, man, God bless those who do it, Carl Camp is in the hizzy. And I'm going to get to Ninja 6485. Good to see you, brother. Rodrigo. Oh, okay. You know what? Let's jump to Rodrigo's question real quick. Any tips for work and motivation? Kind of sad to be honest. Okay. Everybody hits a plateau. You, me, the best of the best, including, okay, perfect example. Perfect example. Years ago when I was in school, I had a professor that turned me on to the history of Nadia Bollinger. Now, if you don't know who she is, you ought to know who she is. She was a former older. We're going back into the 1940s, 50s, 60s. Her as a teacher and educator, but the equivalent of her today would be someone like Barry Harris. Now, stay with me. So I said to him, like, why is she so important? And he gave me this look like, what do you mean? I'm like, why is she so significant? And I understood the significance of her for two reasons. A, some people are gifted to teach. Everyone ain't gifted to teach. Teaching is a gift. I've sat at the feet of, you all know who my mentor is, Dr. Stephen Jablonski. That man is gifted to teach. When he opens his mouth, whether he's joking or not, you're going to get something from it. Barry Harris is the same way. He is gifted to teach. He's a very talented, older, I don't know if he's performing as much. I think his health is failing now. But he's an American treasure when it comes to education. Now, why am I saying this to Rodrigo right now about work and motivation? Take an assessment of where you are in terms of your understanding, where you are and where you want to be. There is only one way to get where you want to be, and that is sitting at the feet of someone who is doing exactly what you're trying to do. Now, why did I bring up Nadia Bollinger? Quincy Jones plateaued. And when he plateaued coming out of Berkeley, he was given the advice of going to France and studying with this woman, Nadia Bollinger. Okay? Now, we're talking about Quincy Jones. Now, it's hard to imagine him plateauing, because of how much of an iconic person he is. But we all plateau. But he said when he went and sat at the feet of Nadia Bollinger, his whole worldview in terms of music changed. Why? The lady is a gifted educator to start out with. And she said this one thing to him. Quincy, there are only 12 tones in music. All you have to do is figure out a way to creatively work within those 12 tones. Now, that might not hit you, and that might not hit me the way it hit him. Okay? It might not hit you, it might not hit me the same way it hit him. But I think it's safe to say 35 million Michael Jackson records, the producer of Count Basie all the way to and through the Chaka Khan, I think it's safe to say that those words hit him over his head like a sledgehammer. And when he got back to New York, this man I don't think there's any other producer that is as cross-genre fluent as Quincy Jones. Why? Because he takes the music serious first. Where do you want to go? You have to ask yourself that question. We all plateau. You got to know what your strengths, you have to know what your weaknesses are. And there ain't no need in hiding from, and that's everybody. This is for everybody. There's no need in hiding from your weaknesses. We all have them. You all will go on my community board, you will see. I'm talking to you about tech stuff. That doesn't minimize my musicianship skills. It doesn't. So we all have to keep these irons in the fire. We have to keep learning. The man that has claimed himself to have arrived and have learned is the man that is on his way out the door. Don't be that guy. Learn. Whoever is doing exactly what you're on the plateau. If you see somebody on the mountaintop, I don't care who it is, you need to get in touch with that person. You need to pick their brain, because that's where you want to be. Ain't no need you sitting around Pookie and them, because misery love company. And if Pookie and them ain't going nowhere, you sitting around with them, you ain't going nowhere. If you want to fly with eagles, you got to climb the mountain, because that's where they are. You understand? So if you're feeling like, okay, well, this sucks, my music sucks, we all get it. We all get there. You know, I had posted something a long time ago when, you know, as a musician, and this is for all musicians, sometimes we come out of the practice room, we feel like we can do no wrong. Then 2 days later, we come out of the practice room screaming how much we suck. You know, but you got to be able to identify your weaknesses, and that's what most musicians don't do. You know, they make one dope track and they think this is the end all. Okay, I'm great. Yeah, you great for the minute, but what about tomorrow? What about the day after that? What are you going to do to keep building on that greatness? So it was just sitting at the feet, getting back to Quincy Jones, of one woman. One woman. You look her up, Nadia Bollinger, Boulinger. The most profound educator of music there was. I didn't understand it then, but when I found out how she shared with Quincy Jones and how much of a profound effect it made on his musical life, I fully understood. I fully understood it when I was in music school, sitting at the feet of Dr. Stephen Jablonski. You just have people that are gifted to teach, and if you're open and if you're an open vessel, you'll receive it. But if you walked up, and I had those when I was in school, you know, people that have a modicum of talent, and they souped up and gassed up, and you can't tell them nothing. You know, like I you know, and this, you know, a few of my classmates, they would be, you know, this is nothing for me, you know, challenge me. You know, as opposed to just being open, you know, they approached it as though they knew it all. You know, the empty cup is the one that's going to be full. And once you get full with that, you're going to empty, and then you're going to keep climbing that mountain. But the object to motivation is to finding someone doing exactly what you're trying to do and contacting them, sitting at their feet, taking in what they have to say, because that's where the growth is. The person who approaches it like they know it all, they halfway out the door. Trust me, I've seen those many, many, many times in my life. And if y'all look at any of my other videos about friends of mine that have arrived, I had a friend of mine I knew when he was a nobody. When he had his first hit, no lie, I ain't gonna call his name. No lie, we was in Sam Ash on 48th Street, for those of you who knew from New York. So I was like, yo, what's up? Boy, I went to give him a pound. And when I went to give him a pound, he was like, hold on a second, I'll be right with you. Like, what? You gonna play me like that? Where is he now? Probably bagging groceries. Okay? So listen, man, just continue to educate yourself. You know, be humble. Be humble and be honest with yourself as to what your weaknesses are, because that's where your strength lies. I hope that helps you, brother. And listen, Rodrigo, also hit me up privately, you know, and keep me apprised of what it is that you're trying to do, you know, because like they say, if you aim at nothing, you're gonna hit nothing every time, brother. So you might as well be very clear as to where you want to go and what you're trying to accomplish. You know, that's the only way you're gonna get there. But okay, so let's get back to some questions. Dorian, greetings from New York. Oh, Dorian's in New York. Okay, all right. And Ninja 6485. Oh yeah, he's using the DA3000. Yeah. Even if you don't use it as a master recorder, listening to cassette. Really? Wow. That's cool. Carl Camp. Hello, everyone. The first time live streamer. You've been subscribed for a while now. I love to. Oh, hey. Much love from West. Okay, Carl. Good to see you, brother. Rodrigo. Oh, okay, Rodrigo, back to you. It says, I've been trying really hard to find jobs like creating a Fiverr account, doing, Fiverr. Bro, I'm going to tell you, don't. I'm going to get back to them in a minute. Don't. Fiverr, doing free work and hoping it gets me somewhere. And even when I get one, people end up not paying. Now that's not, well, listen. Okay, let's start with Fiverr first. No, do not do Fiverr jobs. Don't. I'm not sure what type of work you're trying to do, but see, here's what this is what I've encountered with most youngsters. And I'll put it to you this way. Everybody's doing the same thing. That's whack. It's an oversaturation of people doing mixing, mastering. That's whack. Nobody wants to be a tracking engineer. No one wants to record a symphony orchestra. No one wants to record a chamber ensemble. No one wants to record a trio. No one wants to record piano and voice. No one wants to do those things because they're less than glamorous. But guess what? The money is all green. You understand? Play the long game. Don't play the short game. Trust me. I know multi-millionaires, people that was killing in the 90s. Killing it. They could do no wrong in the business. Yo, why you still doing this midline stuff? Play the long game. Because we all will get old one day. And a brother want to retire with some money in his pocket. You understand? But you chasing gold records and Grammys. What can a gold record do for you when your rent is due and you ain't got no prospects coming in? Nothing. What can that Grammy statue do for you? You got it? Nothing. Zero. And I know Grammy winning and gold record line wall producers that are scrambling right now trying to make ends meet. Because everybody is doing the same thing. You got to get out of that mindset. And Fiverr is the last place. Who pays somebody $5 to mix something? Think about it. You know what I mean? You youngsters get a laptop, a couple of plugins, and suddenly you're a platinum mixer. No, you're not. I'll check back with you in 5 years. You better not be at the Piggly Wiggly bagging groceries. Up there in mama basement calling yourself a mix engineer. Nah, no. Get yourself a system. Go out and record something live. Go and record in a duo, spoken word. There's a lot of, people, you may not make $100 or $200 or $300 or $500 for the gig. But if you could start small and charge accordingly, you will build up a client base. Operative word, client base. If you have no client base, you cannot survive. Who is going to patronize you if you're on Fiverr? Because everybody's looking on Fiverr looking for a bargain. You got to build up a local client base. And then you will be able to survive. You understand? Do television. Audio for for video. These are things that no one wants to do because everybody want to make beats. That's okay. That's fine if that's your thing. But guess what? You and about 1,000 other people are doing the same thing. And whenever the market is saturated, the prices go down through the roof. That's why Fiverr is busy taking advantage of folk. And they get a cut of your money, man. Come on, man. $5. Somebody charge you $5 to mix something. Better head in the other direction, man. Ain't nobody gonna be paying nobody $5. And if you allow yourself to be paid $5 for anything, then you've devalued. If you spent any time in university educating yourself, you've devalued your education. And there's no such thing as being that desperate, okay, that you're gonna take $5 and then they're gonna want revisions for. I do one mix. Come on, man. No. Sorry. You aim at nothing, you're going to hit in nothing every time. You have to be clear-eyed with your goals. And I'm not trying to shout on the young people, but I meet so many of y'all, and I employ a lot of kids that just have no direction. It's like, where do you want to be in 5 years? And I get this. Scratching. And some of these guys are kids I meet, man, they got families, man. They got kids you got to support. You know? Go and intern downtown at CBS. Nah, I don't want to do television. You don't want to, what are you going to do? I want to make beats. Okay. I'll check back with you in 5 years. 30 and 35 years, you go from 30 to 35, and you still trying to do the same thing. If you aim at nothing, you're going to hit nothing every time, man. So that's the old guy off his soapbox. But I think I've been through enough, man. You know, I played the long game, B, a long time ago. Slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady. Slow and steady, man. Slow and steady. Because guess what? You and all your peers are going to get to the finish line at some point in your life. You understand? You want to get there, and you want to get there with a life that was lived well, not struggled. You don't want that. You don't want that. Listen, I grew up in the projects. My brother grew up poor. I know I did not want to die poor. You know, and by God's grace, you know, I'm doing okay. You know, even through this pandemic, you know, I have my health. My lights are still on. Thank God. You know, I've suffered some financial misfortune, but I am okay because, you know, sometimes you have to plan to that end. Worst case scenario. Got a plan. Like I said, if you aim at nothing, you're going to hit nothing every time. And now all you youngsters got to make an adjustment for a post-pandemic market. What are you doing about that? You just added another thing on the plate. So, you know, hey, man, to each his own. You know, I ain't trying to, you know, shout on nobody, but listen, I ain't lived this long to be stupid, you know. And I know that there are jobs out there in media. Media is I mean, listen, if you're not doing anything with regards to the visual aspect of audio, you are doing yourself a tremendous disservice as a professional. Period. I'm off the soapbox. Let's get to some more questions. All right. Joss, I sent you a message on Instagram a few months back asking you for advice on the Lewitt LCC 440. You recommended it and bought it. I love it. It's amazing. Thank you. Oh, okay, brother. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's quite a mic. Quite a mic. Psst. They should be charging at least for the specs, at least twice what you paid for it, what we paid for it. You know, Lewitt is a great company. Great company. You know, and I would say to you, if you enjoyed that, don't let that microphone go, because it's going to be a timeless classic, man. People are going to be trying to break down your door in about maybe 20 years time trying to get their hands on that mic. That mic has specs that only companies like Telefunken and Neumann put out. So yeah, you made a great choice there, man. Lucas Jr. Hey Warren, are you in the States? Thank you. Yes, I am in the States. Thanks to our president, no one wants us people. Remember how black people used to be you people? Guess what? Now all Americans are you people. Nobody wants you people. Can't travel nowhere. And it's a good thing, B, because I was about to head out of the country in February. Had the plane ticket and everything. I saw it. I was like, wait, something ain't shaping up right. I said, nah, I had enough time to cancel that situation. Sure enough, could not get out the country. I got friends of mine from Europe that are here. They can't go back home. It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, man. It's sick. So, hey, man. Doug Joy said, I ain't never lied. Hey, man. Listen, bro. Brothers, like I said, I've been around the block for a minute, and I'm trying to do the right thing. You know, I'm trying to help somebody. You know, and I know the youngsters got it bad, B. Bad. Because they go to these, like, Full Sail and all these other recording programs, and they come out of school with all that debt. And I was like, nah, it's still music. You got to learn the music aspect of it. In a pinch, I can, you know, write some charts for somebody or produce some music, you know, or something with a musical connection to it as opposed to anything technical. But it's a lot of kids that come out, they have no music chops at all, and that's what kills it, you know. So let's Josh, you're my go-to and you ain't never let me down. Well, thank you, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate you saying that, Josh. And Pharaoh Lawless one says, how do I feel about the Shure SM7 for B for recording R&B vocals? It you know, when you're talking about, if you're buying just one mic, I wouldn't say if that's the only mic you're gonna buy that you should buy it. Why? Because it's a dynamic mic, and dynamic mics notoriously need a crazy amount of clean gain to bring them up to a decent level. If you already have a decent preamp, like the Focusrite ISA, or a NEVE, or the Warm Audio for that matter, you're good. It's a decent mic. It has a darker color to it. Michael Jackson used it a lot with Bruce Swedien. I'm not sure what the vocal chain was, but yeah, it's a good choice, you know, but it depends on the voice, though, you know, so you got to identify it from that perspective. Because if you're just buying just one mic, there are other choices like the Lewitt LCT 440 Pure that will probably serve you better. And plus, it's very quiet. He said you have a cloud lifter to go with it. Oh, you already have it. Okay, cool. No, yeah, if you got something like that, yeah, you're set. It's a pretty good combo, you know. John 415, what's up, brother? All right, so everybody has found me. Ed Thorne. Oh, Ed, what's up, man? Yes, Ed Thorne. You guys don't know who Ed is. You need to get over to his channel. Check him out. Okay? All right, so let's get back. Oh, and hey, everybody say hello to Deborah. Deborah's in the house. It's my cousin. How you doing, Deb? And let's go back to Rodrigo. Oh, man, listen, I got to read Rodrigo today. Wish you could give me a big hug as a proper thank you. I'll definitely contact you. Okay, most definitely. Do that and make sure you explain the whole situation in an email. Okay, cool, man. Listen, we all go through stuff, man, especially musicians. I don't know if you saw my rejection. The rejection letter I got from Command Records. I posted it on my community page. And forgive me, I'm screwing the armrest back on. I got furniture that's breaking in this place and everything. But anyway, yeah, rejection is par for the course, man. And sometimes, like I said, if it don't kill you, it make you stronger. I ain't gonna tell you about my last record. Last record I went to do, my last solo record. Abject failure. A failure on so many levels. And it was my fault. Because I was so hung up trying to do the record that all the little details I didn't pay attention to. So yeah, we're gonna suffer misfortune, man. Ain't nobody immune. And every time, and for those of you who spend most of your time on Facebook and Instagram looking at the glory days of other people, stop, because that does nothing but depresses you more. And trust me, no one compares themselves. That end up when you get into the comparison game with your friends or whomever. If you want to depress yourself quick, and if you have friends already in the business that's doing well, look at their Facebook or Instagram feed. And that will depress you quick because you're busy comparing, you know, and they put their pants on the same way you do, put their shirt on the same way you do. So you can't get into that. Everybody's journey is individual, you know, so don't get down on yourself. Don't get down on yourself, man. It's all good, you know. You're going to have, like I said, and then like I said in that post, I failed as much as I've succeeded in this business. Failure is par for the course. And the smart person learns from their failures. You know? Rick Beato, as a matter of fact, did a and I'm gonna do this the same exact thing. He did a video. If you get a chance, you need to go over and look at it. But his is coming from a personal perspective, why his record label failed. And I'm gonna tell you why my record label failed. You know, it wasn't because I didn't have distribution. I had a distributor. You know, it wasn't because I had poor marketing. I had good marketing. Radio promotion, I had good radio promotion. You know, I'll share that in a video in the future. But you learn when things fail and when things fall apart. You're supposed to learn, you know, and so that you don't repeat the same things. So because I didn't repeat the same things after that initial failure, you have a measure of success. Will success be forever, you know, and ongoing? No. You're going to hit the top of the mountain, you're going to come down the other side, and then maybe you go back up. It depends. But you never stop creating, man. That's what's supposed to be satisfying your heart mostly, is when you're creating. So, oh, you said, babe, gratitude, Warren, I need to hear that. Well, listen, if I can encourage anybody, that's the most important thing. Like I said, we're all in the same boat, even the ones, and like I said, I have a whole lot of people I know in this business that's hurting financially, hurting, Jesus God, hurting. Imagine having to pay $10,000 a month rent in Midtown, and you ain't got no prospects coming in. Now, the post houses are doing very well. People I know that work at places like Double A, oh yeah, they're doing good. You know why? Because they're doing stuff for television. They're mixing for TV. They're mixing for projects for the Cartoon Network and everything. You think Hollywood and them is hurting? Nope, they got Netflix. But no one wants to mix for TV. No one wants to do anything related other than making beats. That's way too one-dimensional as a goal for any one person. So I would suggest those of you who if that's your only goal and approach, then nah, you need to rethink that situation, because 10 years from now, if you're 30 and when you turn 40 and you still trying to make beats, that's whack. Nobody likes 30-year-old. Well, I guess ain't nobody breaking it. Well, I take that back. I was about to say nobody want a 30-year-old rapper, but nowadays with some of this stuff that y'all are putting out, some of this raunchy, nasty stuff, WAP, and all this other nasty stuff, they done dumbed R&B and hip hop all the way down. Y'all making people like KRS-One and Kool Moe Dee and all the people that D Nice and all them that during the 90s when they were and Chuck D and Public Enemy, y'all making these guys that paved the road for you look bad with this nasty stuff, you know, and it ain't just and I'm beefing. Okay, I'm a beef on the record labels right now because they the powers that be, they the gatekeepers. For those hip hop producers that producing this stuff, they chasing a buck, because ain't nobody gonna be saying WAP. And if y'all don't know what that song is by Cardi B and that other nasty girl, if y'all don't know anything about that, y'all need to go and see. They have taken, and I'm not just a nasty girl. I'm not gonna say, I take that back. I retract that, because I don't know her personally, Megan Thee Stallion. But appearances, will tell you the type of people that they are. You can form your own opinion after that. But the fact of the matter is that what they're doing is taking, and Stephanie Mills said it best. It's not like record labels don't want R&B. They don't want R&B from Stephanie Mills. They don't want R&B from or artists like Patti LaBelle or Mariah Carey or other artists that doing this, that type of R&B music, that we once knew, a Tamia or what's the other, some other artists in that vein. They don't want that type of R&B. So if you're not half naked or saying extremely outlandishly nasty things on the record, you don't get through the gate. So if you want to survive, most of the youngsters think that's what I got to do, But you got to have some principles, man. You got to have some principles, man, because one day you're going to look up. You ain't going to be 20. You ain't going to be 30. You're going to be 40. You're going to be 50. You're going to be like, yo, I'm going to put out a song called You 50 and half of you is sagging, and now you talking about I'm going to put out a song WAP. That's nasty. Oh, ain't nobody trying to look at you and your stuff is all heading south. Nah, that's whack, man. Anyway, man, listen, that's the old guy getting old and cranky. Nah, but listen, if you trying to survive, nah. It's got to be a better way. You know. You said, oh, Pharaoh Lois says, I also use the WA87, okay, and the Auratone CV12. Is there another mic I should purchase for around $700? Is there another mic to purchase for $700? If I had $700, what would Warren buy right now? Honestly, if you're trying to build your mic locker, it depends on the music. If you're talking about another vocal mic, I try and get maybe if I could finagle it some kind of way, and a vintage AKG 414. If you could finagle it, you know, for on like Reverb or eBay, I would try and do that. Or Yusuf Bey says the TLM 103. I had the TLM. If you could find the TLM 103, that's a good investment. But it's very because it has no transformer in it. Very bright. I used it recording Ayanna George, session singer here in New York. She complements that mic very well. Now, another session singer here in New York used it as well. Latasha Jordan, background singer for Mariah Carey. A whole lot of Alicia Keys, a whole lot of people. But she used it as well, and I didn't like it so much on Latasha's voice. You know, it's very vocal specific. But if you're trying to build a mic locker, then yeah, the TLM or a vintage 414. And if you get yourself on a 414 BULS, don't let it go. Don't let it go, man. Don't let that thing go, because that's money in the bank, B. That's where people, they don't realize when you dropping your cash, you better be dropping in the right area. You know, if you could finesse, you got $700 in cash. Hey, man, listen, this is all I got. And some people will let it go for 700 bills. A 414 BULS? What? Grab it and run the other way. Steve. Okay, Steve says you could try the Rode NTK valve mic. Yeah. That Rode, that Rode is the bomb diggity. What's the girl's name? Carol K. She uses it. Well, I like it on her voice anyway. But it has a very rich, fat sound. Yeah, I like that too. You know. And another good buy that I keep finding on eBay. The AKG Solid Tube, which has the C12 capsule in it. People are just letting those things go for like $300. I don't know why. I own one and I love that mic. You know. And again, I own one and I don't use it a lot, but I bought it because of the capsule. You know? And people are like, oh, it's not an Neumann. It doesn't have to be a Neumann. But guess what? It will be worth a lot of money in the future. Trust me on that one. So buy it, hold on. And these are assets and tools. You know what I mean? Invest your money, invest it wisely. Ninja was okay. No, ask permission to change the track. No. Okay. Okay, Ninja. By the way, no one asked permission. They changed the tracks and there's no way to contact the person. Don't know what that means. Okay. Oh, here we go. Ninja6485 says something that's a bit off topic. What would you do if someone recorded your album from a Bandcamp stream and put it up on on their YouTube rated? Would you consider it free expo? No, they ripping you off. Nah, I had that happen. As a matter of fact, yeah. Twice that happened to me. Yeah, some clown did that, and I sure enough contacted them. Take that down. Artist that I work with, I wrote some music for, Daryl Dolman. I did a track with Felix Gonzalez, one of the top, well, God rest his soul, Felix, God rest his soul, was one of the top Latin producers in gospel music, right before he passed away about 3 years ago. And one day Daryl calls me up and tells me, yo, there's this page on YouTube that's playing my music. I'm like, what? So look, sure enough, it was a song I co-wrote with him. I was like, nah, contact them. Had to take it down. The same thing happened with Dolores Bowman's record. I was like, who are you people? You know, I mean, you could make it a legal issue if you want to, but the best thing to do is just to contact them directly and tell them, kindly remove my music. You know, and if you suspect that they may have monetized, now I don't know if you can monetize music, but I don't know how that works. But I think the best thing to do is safeguard it. That's your copyright. Tell them take your stuff down. Period. Point blank. Full stop. Nah, it's free. And that's another thing. These places like Bandcamp and them keep ripping people off. And another guy was saying, I forgot the name of. I'ma post the thing. There was some artist from Latin America. Where is he? I think he was from Brazil. And they took the guy's music, and then he like had a crazy amount of coverage on YouTube for it. And I think over 1 million some odd plays. And he made a fortune, and then they took half of it, talk about some sort of like administrative fee. It wasn't Bandcamp, it was some other one of these people, man, administrative fees in the amount of like 55%, and gave him a check for. He was like, "What?" Yeah, they did, see, that's just bad, man. It's a funny thing, because my accountant said a long time ago. He said there's something about the music business that lends itself to cheating, and that is very true. People are like ruthless, man. Take that. If that's your music, to have them take it down. Ain't that much. If you want free exposure, listen, Ninja. If you're trying to market some music, my wife is a former radio promoter, and you want some tips, just send me a private message. I'll get you some tips, because she's been in that business for some time. But no, don't let people screw you. That's nasty. I mean, come on, that's just terrible. And folks cheating people like that. Come on, man, that's not good. No, that's your music. To have them take that stuff down, and they just doing artists wrong on so many levels. People getting 1 million plays and then a check for like $30,000 off 1 million plays. Come on now, that's crazy. No, and no. So back on to the 414. Yes, get that 414. Back to where to invest your money. The C800G raised in price was a good. If you have $10,000 to spare. I don't know. To me, that Sony mic was very specific. I was never floored by it, but everybody swears by it. I guess everyone's mileage varies. And that's with any microphone when you're thinking about it, because what sounds great on one vocalist may not necessarily sound great on the other. So the Audio-Technica 4050 is a good choice as well. And okay. Yeah, qualified. Okay, so any other questions? Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Stefano, I appreciate you being in here and chiming in. Steve Sawyer. Oh man, going back to Steve. Okay, okay, Steve. Oh, Steve dropping some bombs here. He said, "I learned that you can have everything under control, apparently, and still have everything go wrong." That's true. I used to think it was weakness, but it's not. It's life. Kudos, Steve. That was a good one, man. See, that's why I go back in the comments, man, because life is something that we're all living right now, man. And it was DistroKid. DistroKid tried to screw this guy. He was from Latin America, I think Brazil. I'm going to put the link to his video. Yeah, it's administrative fees. I think it was like 55%. And he was like, do you really think the people in Brazil are that stupid that you're going to cheat me? Yeah, it was a mess. But he wound up getting his money, though. Okay, here's another good question from Mix by Max. How do you book clients? And how do I reach out to people? I have a client base that is over 30 some odd years deep. And then people tell people who tell people. See, it's what I do, I'm an arranger. When I'm promoting myself, people hire me to arrange ideas that they bring to me. Like, you can bring me a rough idea of a song. I will help you develop that song. And then if need be, give you an example. If need be, I will hire singers. I will hire lead vocalists to bring your music to a professional quality, either demo or in some instances they release it. You know, that's my profession. Uh, People just tell people, like through one project, I think I got 2 other referrals from one project. I'm not cheap, you know, and I don't, you know, I'd rather just because I don't believe in bastardizing. I'm a work hard for you, you know, and I'm not going to lower. If you can't afford me, you can't afford me. That's just the bottom line, you know. Because listen, man, I paid a lot to go to school, you know, and and I'm gonna give you quality product, technically and quality arranging and composition. I'm the guy that's going to give you full band arrangements so that, you know, in one instance, I'll give you a client needed full band arrangements because they intended to perform this their material internationally. So quite naturally, you need to take charts with you because you don't travel with a road band. You're going to take those charts with you to maybe a band in France. Everybody reads the same, you know, music. So here's the chart. Let's play the music. And that's the way it is in most of the bands professionally that you'll see. If you're coming in and you're sitting in on a band, you know, they're going to give you the music. You know, in gospel, they'll give you a tape. And in some instances, they'll give you the actual chart. Sometimes you got to read this stuff down live, you know, and I mean, that's the world that I've been in, you know, for many, many, many years. But how do I reach out to people? I don't cold call as much as I used to. Back when I'll give you an example. Cold calling, when I was trying to break into wedding bands years ago, you find out who the players are band-wise because these wedding bands make a lot, well, used to back in the day, make a lot of money, who the players are, and let them know of your availability, you know, one, and if the seat opens up, you'd like to audition. And if you auditioned and you got in the band, and some of these organizations have multiple bands working multiple, you know, weddings on a weekend, you know, so you have to reach out to people, but you also have to have something unique to offer, you know. If you want more deeper advice than that, reach out to me and with some specifics as to what you're trying to accomplish, and maybe I could help you better. But my client base is just so deep, you know. I mean, people I've known for years, and then people know people. I mean, that's how I got the Winfred Rimbert documentary film. It's because I had a 30+ year relationship with a background vocalist who knew the director. The director contacted me and wanted to do the audio visual posts for the documentary here, you know. So it's just people who know people, word of mouth, you know. And you got to be, you know, willing to work hard and go the extra mile too. So, you know. Oh, Mr. Pirate Brain, yeah, the distributor, $3,000 of the Brazilian kids' money. Yeah, man. Okay, so let's move forward. What do I feel is the best music distributor then? Okay, here's the deal. I don't think a lot of people realize that you could distribute directly to Apple. That you really don't need. You don't need to pay some of these third-party distributors to get your music distributed. I will find the link, and this is proof positive. I will find the link. I will put it in the community tab. But I know Apple has a way that you could deal directly with them as an artist, because everybody's not going to be distributed by a major, you know, label nowadays, you know, digitally. And, you know, some folks approach this business with the thought that the only way I can get my music out is if I go through one of these distributors. But how did they get that? How did they get that hookup and that connection? By knowing that they could deal directly with Apple, and then they turn around and charge you a fee. Stuff that you could do yourself, you know. But if you're going to do that, what do I feel about the best way to distribute music? Listen, This is my opinion on it. If you are going to deal directly with Apple, do not dilly-dally around by under-marketing what it is that you're offering them. Don't. If you got to come out of the gate, come out of the gate correct. Okay? That's either have a marketing plan, a 3 to 6 month marketing plan and approach. You want more information about how to develop one? Again, hit me up on the email, and I will, share some of the ways my wife used to market music back in the day. But don't shortchange yourself by, your tracks is all thin. You got to measure your stuff up against what is currently on iTunes. And if it doesn't measure up, be honest with yourself and say, I need this to compete with every artist in this genre. If it's not competing, then you have to make adjustments. Don't release music before it's time. It's like a fine wine. You know what I mean? It's like a fine wine. So, Ed Thorne, please tell us about your studio. Is it private, open commercially, and what kinds of clients do you get if so? Okay, my studio was once upon a time, and this is why I shut that down real quick. It was once upon a time a commercial operation. But I found that my personality, and this is not a bad thing. When you're dealing with at the mid-level, when you're dealing with mid-level clients, you'll find that they want more than their hourly rate is paying. For instance, they'll often come in without a clue. Some mid-level clients without a clue, and they want you to produce their music. Case in point, I had a couple of artists come through years ago. We going back way when I was recording a tape, and I was a commercial operation then. I had an artist come in and expect me to give an honest assessment of their music every step of the way. When I told them that's not my job, I am here as an engineer alone. They could not understand that and wanted to know, well, why am I charging so much money? At the time, I was thinking my hourly rate was about $25 an hour. We're going about maybe 25 years back, $25 an hour. And I'm saying to myself, like, hey, you weren't sitting with me in class when I was learning this stuff, not talking about the technical, but musical stuff, and you're asking me to produce your music for free. Pay me extra. They don't get that. Another example. I had a client years ago. Now, this is back in the days of tape, and this is when I was commercial operation. You mixed it, and I learned early on two things. You don't release the final 2-track mixes. This is when reels of tape were given out. You don't give them the tapes until you get your money, 1. And 2, make sure that they sign off on the mixes. Listen to it critically, sign off. I would sit there and listen to it. We would make changes, cut a new version of the mix, splice it onto the reel, bam, they walk out. I had one guy come back years later. I want to remix this. Had a woman do that before. I want to remix this. Okay, no problem. It'll be remixed. But, it becomes an issue when you want to charge them for it. Well, I've patronized you before. Yeah, that was before. I have current expenses. I'm not going to remix. You signed off on this stuff. So my personality just can't deal with the boneheadedness of some folk. So I transitioned into doing more production work. How did that happen? Early on, I met a producer. His name was Dana Reed. Very, very talented guitarist here in New York. And he kind of took me under his wing. And I learned a lot about the finer technique of production through him. Through Dana, I met Jerry Hutchinson is one of the founding members of Take 6. And, you start with people who know people. And Dana knew Tina Fabrique. And Dana would do all of his demos. at my studio, and some of the demos would wind up. One of the demos wound up on Tina Fabrique's. It was like a community of folks. So quite naturally, we're all young. We're into business. Some of us had more talent. Dana being one of them, Jerry being another, had more talent than others of us. But it was still a community of people. I came in at a more technical musical perspective. So everybody had their role that they were playing, and we all grew in this business together. Now, quite naturally, as time goes on, you find out what you really like. And I found out that I really enjoyed writing. I really enjoyed arranging. I really enjoyed production more. Not to mention, the paychecks were bigger and the hassles were less. Because most people know that if I have a budget to do, this particular thing, this is your job, this is what I'm expecting, they're going to put that money in your hand knowing that you're capable. Ain't nobody going to cut you no check if you can't do the work. So I realized early on that I did not want to deal with the hourly client. Period. So the community of folks that I came up with, Dana, Jerry, Kevin Stevenson, Damon, all these people that from the area, know other people, and your Annette Bland, Dolores. I mean, so many folk. Now these are people that were out touring. That was when folks was making a living at music. So to answer Ed's question, I'm currently open to private clients only. Why? Because I'm tired of folk. They'll come to you. I'll do one job. Like, I'll give you an example. Private client came to me, and I need you to do A, B, and C. So I did the arrangement, did the chart. Can you produce it for me? Now, I was hired to do one job. I was like, I'm not cheap. So I told him what my production fee was, and I told, okay, well, we've worked together for about a year and some change. What I can do is bill you, monthly in the amount up. Now, they paid me and everything, but when it came time for them to do the other song, it was like, I really like to work with you again, but you're so expensive. I told you that from the outset, no problem. So what did they do? They went to Pookie and them. And then we lose contact, and a year later we get back together, and she lets me hear Pookie and them's work. And don't ask me. Person asked me, said, "Oh, well, what do you think?" I'm like, "You want to know what I really think?" I was like, "I think you should have hired me." "Yeah, I know, but you're expensive. But now you got to pay for me to fix it, and it's costing you more money." So I found out that sometimes when you buy cheap, you're gonna buy it twice. And I've been doing this for a while. I realized, and let me tell you something, for those of you who are under the illusion that everyone in the music business is making their money from music, come down out of that cloud. That is not true. A lot of professional musicians will teach. A lot of them will get their money from other sources of investment. When you get a big gig, you've got to make sure that you don't take that check and do stupid stuff with it. You invest it. That's what I did early on. Because I know one day I was going to get old, and I was poor once, and I did not want to be poor twice. You got to invest that money. I don't care if you're buying mutual funds. I don't care if you're buying real estate. But when you get a check, somebody put a check for $50-something thousand in your hand. Don't be like some of these kids I know. How much you charge? Yeah, well, got 2 tracks. I got 50 grand for it. You pay taxes on it? No. You ain't pay no tax on that money? You do know that you got to pay tax? Some of these kids do some of the most boneheaded things. Invest that money, because rainy days do come. So, I'm open just to private clients right now. And what kinds of clients do I get if so? I am at the point in my career where I can pretty much pick and choose what I'd like to work on. And what I'm doing more of these days is recording acoustic ensembles, whether it's chamber ensembles, because I love chamber music by any composer just about, whether it's duo, piano voice duo, bass and voice duo, jazz quartet, jazz trio, because I'm a tracking engineer at heart. you know, and that's what I love, the acoustics of instruments, you know, and how they sound. It just, you know, does something to me. So, I mean, that's what I love to do. You know, I don't have to chase money too much anymore. You know, I'm not dumb. I still charge for what I do, but at the same time, you know, that's what I love to do now. You know, I did a gig for the Cantors of St. Joseph, which is a vocal band of phenomenal musicians. Like Brittany Wiley she was one of the top finalists at on that gospel show on BET. So I'm doing work like that, more acoustic music, because that's what I love to do. You know, and once you get a hold of what you love to do and you niched out what you're doing, you know, then the work comes. The work comes. You're gonna get work. You know, I'm not busy trying to do mixing and mastering. And I have some friends of mine that are in this business and have been in this business for a long time, and that's what they're doing. You know, mixing and mastering. But the record company budgets aren't there anymore. So how do you survive? You got to niche out. You got to be able to find things that you love to do, and you got to be able to survive with that thing. You can't be so caught up on chasing a dollar. You have to understand that this is a long game. The long game. Play the long game, youngsters. Play the long game. Stop chasing the Grammy. Stop. If it happens, good. If it doesn't happen, also. Because the Grammy people are not there when Con Ed and all these people come knocking on your door. You got to pay the light bill. So, moving on. Oh, Ed said, great to know more about me. Warren, thanks. Yeah, I used to have a website back some time ago. But most of my bio is on the current website for the Rhythm Studio. So, you want to know more about me. Yeah. Back when I was trying to be an artist. Long time ago. Anyway, DistroKid. So, let me get on Glenn Tabinski. It's an excellent content. You got a bell, Warren, and everyone. Okay, well, Glenn, I just want to say thank you for stopping in. Armando is in the hizzy. What's up, brother? Good to see you. And Ed Thorne said I should do a video on that private, I guess it's private, commercial, and what kinds of clients do I get. Maybe I will, because, you know, I've noticed some things, even with the guys that are doing hip-hop. There's some things that I think the kids need to know. Clip Wilson says, fellas, how late am I? Kind of late. Hour and a half already. I'm about to wrap up. But long story short, folks, I've decided to go ahead, and my wife has given me the blessing of being able to use the office space, which was once upon a time, because she's no longer in the business. She needed office space when she was in the business of radio promotion, and now that, you know, she's sold that company and not doing it anymore, the office was just, you know, not being used. So I was like, listen, I can use that space. And hopefully with this renovation, I'm going to be doing more remote drum sessions. That's one goal. Another thing is still with, you know, recording more acoustic ensembles, as I had just mentioned, and seeing what's next from there, you know. Not much more, you know, still in keeping with mastering outside of the box, and again, trying to continue to build my channel as well as my contacts within the audio-visual aspect of things. So there are some other, I'm not going to say what they are right now, that things that I'm going to be doing from a visual perspective. I'm not going to share. I will share in greater detail in the future, but that has always been my goal, to incorporate more video into what I'm doing right now. Outside of YouTube, I'm talking about real content in terms of filmmaking. So, Ethon, great to know. Okay, and Apple Music release. I'm gonna have to expound on that. If it's what we were talking about, Pharaoh Lawless says, if I need a lead vocal, I'll do it. Listen, always looking for folks, man. So yeah, just put a link, send a brother a link. You know, always looking for, and like I said, nowadays I'm trying to get more of my session singing friends, y'all, to become more technical, because you know, we got to find a way to work. Music still got to get done, man. Music still has to get done. So what's my take on sample rate? I would say 48K, 192, if you can get up that high. Why? Because if you're going to be sending any music to Apple for distribution on iTunes, they require the highest sample rate that you can provide them, because there's a measure of processing that they do on their end, which has the potential rather of compromising the quality of your audio, and you don't want that. Okay. I think I've spoken about this in the past when I've talked about mastering outside of the box, so you might want to reference a few of those videos to see how I expounded on that topic. And Mr. Pirate Brain says, what about people that want to do mastering? What would your signal chain be? Well, once I, get back into doing any level of mastering outside of the box, my chain will be Apogee converters, of course, my equalization, and I'll be using probably, if not the bus comp, for just treating the two channel signal going to the mastering recorder, because I will be mastering outside of the box, and that will be a Tascam recorder. I'm looking at the very latest Tascam recorder that they have out. I think it's a DA 3000. And again, I've heard this thing, and it's phenomenal sounding, man. High res. And I will be providing only high resolution files to clients from this point forward, either 96K or 192. Because, again, the problem with most people that they're finding is that, well, the mix sounds one way when you're in the studio, but when you get it on iTunes, it's different, because they're doing their level of processing to your signal. And if you've already sent them not a low res, it's not considered low resolution when you have 24 bit 48 kilohertz. It's not low res, but at the same time, by the time they tweak it and do whatever it is processing wise to your file, it takes on a whole other sound that may be pleasing to you or not. Oh, the video suggestion from Ed Thorne was to expand on how to release on Apple Music, as I discussed earlier. Okay, yeah, I will do that. But again, here's the caveat for those of you all who want to deal directly with Apple. And I'm gonna go back to approaching it from how one would have approached a distributor if you had tangible product like a CD. And this is just surface stuff. Whenever you're gonna step out from under the covered wagon of like a CD Baby or DistroKid or one of them, whenever you're stepping out and you're gonna deal directly with someone like a corporation like Apple, make sure that your guns are fully loaded. Do not come out with these thin tracks, whack looking marketing products, however they market digitally nowadays. You must have a marketing plan. If you do not have a clue as to how to market a record, it is better off for you to hire someone, a consultant. Do not approach Apple unless you're ready. You are better off going through CD Baby or DistroKid. This way, at least you're hiding in the shadows of another company. But once you step out and put yourself forward as a label, you are in the spotlight alone. Okay? You will be scrutinized as a company. And they will be like, probably, depending on how that relationship turns out, either more likely or less likely to take you serious in the future. You never get a second chance to make a good first impression. Okay? So, if you ain't ready, it's okay. Take your time. Don't be in a rush. Okay? Take your time. Hire a consultant. Hire the professionals who know how to market, either how to deal with this whole Vivo thing. Because even listen, if I go to my wife right now and say, listen, do a little bit of research as to how, you are to approach Vivo. There's a process. There's a process. There's an artist that I work with a lot, Ruben Singleton. And Ruben is just starting to and this is after how many records we've worked on together. He's just starting to make a dent in with Vivo and iTunes, and because he's adjusted his approach. He's hired professionals, So if you're unable financially to shoulder that responsibility, don't. Pay your little $25 to somebody, let them release it. This way you're hiding in the shadows and the ability of what they're able to do. Because their credibility is what's going to give you the platform. But once you step out to give yourself the platform, beware. Because that's a whole other thing, man. Don't be trying to play ball with the big boys. You get yourself embarrassed. You understand? So, yes, and even McDonald's process as a process. It's true. Everything is a process, man, when you're dealing with business. Everything, everything. So that's my spiel. And yes, and Ed, listen, my brother, thank you for the suggestions. Ed Thorne, everybody give him a round of applause, whether you're clapping in the comments or something. Ed has a great channel as well. One of my international brothers, and I am so grateful for him and for his insight, and as well as him tuning in. So everybody, check out Ed's channel if you get a chance. And let's make sure I got everybody. So that's that. As you all know, I will be posting more. I'll be doing a renovation diary so you all can see the down and dirty next week. But yeah, man, this place is a wreck. A wreck. I've had to put a whole lot of things on hold. But it's going to change. For the better in about a week. I'm having an analysis done on the room, next week, of which I'm going to post a technical video on why doing a room analysis, if you're a income earning room, I don't care whether you're doing mixes for $25 an hour or $250 an hour. If you are being paid for your room, make sure you do your clients a service by having a room that everything sounds well in at all times. Okay, so we'll be talking about that. And Steve Pomos says, bravo, Eduardo. This is good. This is good. But I want to say thank you to everyone who tuned in. Yes, the place is a mess. You will see that next week in a video. I will explain why you should properly treat your room, and I'm not talking about using foam. Foam is just one component, that's very important, but it's really critical that you all understand that if you're going to be an income producing room, that you must have your room properly, tuned, looked at by a professional, and I'll share with that in greater detail, because I had an eye opener last week. I was like, huh? Something that I didn't realize when that wall was up, that I had been given advice to do it and to have it constructed in that way, and I was misled big time, you know. And I'll share in greater detail, but like that. But listen, this has been good, folks. I really appreciate you all for stopping by, and this was good. You know, I enjoy connecting with you guys in this manner, and right now this is the only way, because right now I'm telling you, if I quick pan to the rest of it, look at this place is a mess. Look at this place is a mess. I got stuff everywhere, man. So that's the down and dirty, you know. That's the down and dirty. But listen, it's gonna get better. But this has been good, you know, because I can't do much of anything else right now other than, you know, just connect with you guys on this level. And I know it's been a week or so since we've dialogued, and other than the community tab, you know, I'm gonna be as transparent with you all as possible. And this is what's happening right now. I'm just like, I'm testing missiles over here, you know. So, but it's all good. It's gonna be cleaned up really soon. I appreciate everybody for being here. So with that in mind, I'm going to say good afternoon. And Miss Percy, I love the bobblehead in the background. Yeah, that's my there's a story behind that, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. That'll be, you know, brother, long-winded, you know. But yeah, that's the story behind that bobblehead. But this has been good. Listen, I appreciate you guys stopping in, and look for the diary next week. And for those of you who want to reach out and just have a quick chat, listen, do that, man. I'm always open to talking, and you know, and I ain't got nothing to hide, you know. So I'm not gonna keep you guys at arm's length, but I think it's important that we share, you know, one-on-one as well as in the community, you know. So with that in mind, I appreciate each and every one of you. Stay safe and good afternoon. Bye.